Yo, 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 yo. It's Not Move Podcast, pregame Pittsburgh Steelers edition. And we going international this week, baby. We going to Dublin, Ireland. I'm here with my boy dollfacegremlin. And man, listen, what you got for me, Graham? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, Graham. I'm not liking nothing I'm seeing. I'm not here. I'm not seeing no trade talks to get rid of Broderick Jones. Like, I don't know, did you get that clip that I got from Ben Roethlisberger talking about it? And
Yeah.
he said James Harrison would have 15 sacks if he lined up in front of if he lined up in front of Broderick Jones. Like, this is just getting ridiculous, man. Like, and this is another reason why this is another, no, I mean, really, like I said, why Tomlin got to go. No, like, why are we not trying to trade for somebody? Why are you not? Why are there no moves being made and you know and understand that everybody and their mother knows that this man is playing this fucking bad? Like, seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the thought process is right now. I think they're just all hanging their hats on this is a young guy still who never got his chance to start as an excuse as that is, because that's really what it is. It's an excuse when you're letting a guy keep 3 games in a row as a starter fail, 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 fail. It's just excuses trying to maybe cover for the fact that they shouldn't have traded up in that draft and got to that position and use that pick on Broderick Jones. Because if you remember, even during the draft, there were reports about his health and about him just not being that good of a pass blocker. But that's then. This is now, and there are solutions. There's people on the practice squad you might as well bring up and replace him with. There's got to be something else besides. Well, we're gonna hope, fingers crossed, that this week we're gonna go to Dublin and things are just magically gonna change.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me, man. It makes absolutely no sense to me how they're just ignoring these problems that we're having on our line. I mean, our play calling is designed because of our line. That's why we're doing all these screens and all this. Because we got to get the ball out of Rogers' hands so he can stay upright.
Yeah, and what's not going to work against this defense is probably a lot of those screens. This Viking defense is very dynamic. Brian Flores, as the coordinator, he has some knowledge about the Steelers intimately from being here for that 1 year as a defensive assistant. And, that's a person you and I talked about, I believe, on the last pod, where we really wish that could have been a guy that we retained who could have been the head of our defensive front right now, who could be the one calling much better plays than Terrell Austin, which we see Terrell Austin just I think he got lucky last week. I think you and I both agree. He got lucky last week with those turnovers, but that was last week. This is this week, and they're facing the defense ranked number 6 overall right now. They're going to see a lot of different packages compared to the first 3 teams that we had experience with so far.
Absolutely. And then you got not to mention, right? Brian Flores and Mike Tomlin are cool. You know what I mean? They're friends. That's why he put him on the staff the same week he was let go from Miami. You
Yep.
know what I mean? To let him know, like, nah, dog, like I got your back. You know what I mean? That's why he put him on the staff. And so he knows Tomlin's tendencies.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? He knows what Tomlin likes to do. He knows what Tomlin instructs. He knows what Tomlin how Tomlin thinks as far as game planning for the week. He understands that. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I have no faith in my team until they get rid of that coaching staff. Because like I said, as long as that coaching staff is there, I just don't see them putting our team in position for success. I don't care who the players are. I don't care who the personnel is. I do not see Terrell Austin, Arthur Smith, and Mike Tomlin putting our players in position for success. I do not see it. I don't care. You can give me Derrick Henry back there. You can throw Patrick Mahomes and Joe Barrows in as quarterback. Like, you can go get me JJ and Chase on both sides of the field, and we still wouldn't win, dog. I'm just being honest, dog. Like we still wouldn't win, man. Not like I said, our problems are internal. Okay, it's coaching problems. The coaching problems are really bad over there right now. You hired a man whose highest rank at his last job was 26.
Yeah.
I'm just still trying to figure out what did he say to you in the interview for you to say welcome to Pittsburgh. Like, dog, he was ranked last in rush defense.
Yep.
It was like it was like 30th in like pass defense.
Yeah. There's nothing.
Like his overall highest ranking as a defensive coordinator in Cincinnati was like 26, and you hired this man. Like, what does he say to you?
Yeah, I don't know what he said that compelled him to be the number one guy to run that defense. Just like I don't know what Art Smith said that could have compelled them to bring him in because other than hey, I'm not Matt Canada, so that probably is what he said. I'm not Matt Canada, and they were like, oh well, you're in, sold. But I don't know what he could have said because what's even going to be worse this week, right? Is you're facing a Vikings defense and a Vikings offense. Vikings offense did a pretty good job last week. I don't know if anybody paid attention to Carson Wentz slinging the ball around, getting 2 touchdowns. You know, they Carson Wentz has an arm on him still, and especially if he's not the one who's in control of everything, he's going to let the coaches control it. He can still do a good job. You know, their running back finally got some time. You know, he ran for 119 yards and what, 2 touchdowns last week? So this is not good for Terrell Austin this week. There's too many options for the Vikings at receiver. There's too many options against this team. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not excited about what we're about to see in Dublin, Ireland.
No, listen. All I can say is I need the luck of the Irish. Like, seriously, if we want to win, we're going to seriously need to grab our 3-leaf clover and go search for blue diamonds, purple horseshoes, all that. And you know what I mean? Everybody better have a box of Lucky Charms in front of them. You know what I mean? When they get off the, I mean, seriously, because I don't, no, like, and here's the thing, and this is what is so irritating about this whole situation. I can't even criticize the players. I can't even criticize the players because I see and understand where the problem derives from, where the essence of the problem is. And the essence of the problem is the coaching. So how can I even say anything to the players and I know they're not even properly being coached? You got a
Yeah.
kickoff returner that doesn't know that the ball is live. No, I mean, like you can't make this up. I got a blindside tackle that cannot block. I'm trying to think. Is he couldn't block to save his life is an understatement. I was trying to think of something more. You know what I mean? I was trying to think of something else because that's just an understatement, dog. Like, and you see all these problems, and you're like, yo, I can't even say nothing about them because
Yeah.
I know that the initial problem is over their head. It's over their head.
Yeah, there's only one coaching saving grace that I found throughout doing some research here and like looking at numbers, and it's the red zone offense. That's one thing Arthur Smith is actually seems like he's done a pretty good job with. We're number two. Steelers are number two in all of football in the red zone with an 87.5% touchdown rate. So that's one saving grace that we have in scoring offense too. You know, having a good red zone offense means you're going to be having a good scoring offense. But besides that, it's just it seems like it's tooth and nail to even get to that point. If you've been watching the last few games, it's almost like they just have a constant wind pushing against them when they're trying to get up that field to get there. And it's almost like it's almost like the negativity of the coaching above them is hanging over the players' heads too. Now, Broderick
No,
Jones aside, Faltanu's got to have some blame too, doesn't he, Coach? I think Faltanu's got to take some blame for that offensive line as well, because you know while the first game he wasn't so bad, it seems like he's regressed the last 2 games. So it's not even just the left side that Aaron Rodgers has to worry about. Now he's got to be watching both sides. He's got to worry about it coming from every angle. Uh, and McCormick didn't play a good game as well last time. He didn't do himself any favors. So it's yeah. I don't know if the coaches aren't motivating this line. I don't know if the coaches aren't motivating these guys to play better. But for a fact, there is a problem, and it does start at the top of the food chain, which is coaching.
Well, see, listen, here's my thing. You let some rumors float around about you being traded. I don't care if you know. You let it be known that we're not happy with your performance. Bring a guy up from the practice squad. Let him know that his job is in jeopardy, dog. Like, we ain't
Yeah,
gonna keep doing this. Let them know. See, I'm the type of coach, I'll call you out in front of your whole team, dog. It'll just be the team, but I will call you out in front of the whole fucking thing. Yo, you bum at you couldn't block, so you ain't blocked nothing. Dog. You want to act tough in practice, but when we get in the game, you want to listen. I'm doing all that. I'm doing all that. Like I said, it ain't gonna be no spectators around, just be the team and the coaches. But oh yeah, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you all the way out, dog. You want an apology from me? Earn one, homie. Earn one. No, because I'm not here for that. Like, I don't know, man. I swear, I just wish I just wish, I'm really starting to feel as though it's Art Rooney the second, because I'm really starting to feel as though he's allowing the culture of the Steelers to be changed, or to even just be lost, to just be forgotten. No, nobody fears our defenses anymore.
not one
When's the
bit.
last time you heard an analyst say, and they gotta go over there to Pittsburgh, and you know how those guys are. Like that used to be the conversation, like Chris Berman them used to be having like back in the day.
That's
Like,
true.
no, they gotta go see here. Man, you gotta go see Cowher and the Steelers on Monday night. Like, and Cowher, I think Cowher has something like, I think maybe one loss or something like that on Monday night in his whole career.
I can look that up real quick, but uh, yeah,
But our defenses, like Blitzburg, like our defenses were, imposing their will on other teams.
yeah. And Bill Cowher had an 18-8 all-time record on Monday night,
Okay.
but
That's right.
he was 11-0 at home.
Oh yeah, okay. All right, that's the one it was. Okay.
Yeah, he's 11-0 at home on Monday nights.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does start at the top. There's people in Pittsburgh who are writing, Batco, Mark Madden, Matt Williamson. They all point to the top. It's not just Mike Tomlin. It's Rooney for letting this go on so long. Especially if you ever go listen to Mark Madden on the show at 105.9 The X, or look at his writing for the Trib Live. He's constantly talking about how Rooney is just trying to play at being his father and his grandfather, trying to keep the same people in position because it's good old Rooney tradition to keep these coaches in for a long time. It's good old Rooney tradition to keep the same status quo, to keep it all the same. So it does start at the top, and maybe that's something I don't know anything about, but it also sounds like maybe it's another one of those Mike Tomlin hiring situations where Rooney is hiring advisors around him who only want to agree with him and be yes people. They only want to be like, yep, no problem, got it, boss, I agree with you, you sound great.
Because, see, I wouldn't even be upset at that, right? If we were consistently showing progression.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? I wouldn't even be upset at that. I wouldn't even be upset at like I wouldn't even be upset if we consistently were competitive. See, the reason this was tolerated with Bill Cowher, yes, we'd have an off season. But even if we went 9-7, we were competitive.
Yeah.
We didn't get dog walked in the playoffs. You feel me? Like, it was a competitive game. We competed.
Yeah, it's a different feeling for the
Like, we don't even
last.
compete, man. Like, we're not even compete. Listen, the New England, I said this on our post game, and I'm going to bring it up again. The New England Patriots dogged walked our defense up and down that field like it was no problem. They did this consistently, but they could not hold on to the ball. Like I said, every fumble, with the exception of the sack, of the strip sack, every play was a positive yardage play that they fumbled on. It wasn't like they hit them in the backfield and they had a TFL and they fumbled and they stripped. No. All these fumbles is that they had plus yardage over the line of scrimmage. Y'all just happened to come up from the back or whatever and hit the ball out or however it may go. But they were all positive yardage plays.
Yeah.
If they hold on to that ball, dog, it's a blowout. It's not even close.
Yeah, if those turnovers don't happen, the Patriots definitely kick the Steelers' butts. They definitely just absolutely destroy them. You know, we're looking at a defense right now that Pittsburgh, as you know, longtime fans such as yourself, you and I, we've seen where it's stop the rush, stop the rush, stop the rush, and good things will happen. You know, because you stop the rush, then you can focus a little bit more on stopping them in the pass game. And the Steelers are number 26 in rush defense. First three games. It's embarrassing. You know, they're letting 139-yard average per game for a rushing just the rushing. That's something, you know, that used to not happen. You know, I think what you and I said maybe back in the second week, we were talking about how it was, you know, a long streak of like, oh, the Steelers hadn't had 40 some games, it was like 40 games without a 100-yard rusher, 32, 28, you know, these
Yo,
long
exactly.
intervals.
Exactly. They've allowed 100-yard rusher in the last 32 games.
Yeah, and now it just seems like, you know, at the end of last year it was one 100-yard rusher after another. This year it started one 100-yard rusher after another. And you know, the Vikings, just because Jones isn't hurt doesn't mean Mason isn't going to run because he did a good job last week. And it's still the only saving grace that I saw from that defensive front against the rush was Derek Harmon.
Exactly. And yo, and I remember there was a time that we didn't allow a team to rush for 100 yards. As
Yes.
a team, they didn't rush for 100 yards, dog. Like I remember one season we averaged 87 yards a game on the ground, dog.
And unfortunately, those days are long gone
Those
right now.
days are over.
Until we get someone in place as coordinator, and those days are gone. And the schedule coming forward is not any forgiving. You know, this task with the Vikings to stop their run is actually going to be one of the easier tasks. You know, with Seattle, they had two decent running backs to hit with, in Charbonnet and Walker. You know, with even the Patriots, with all the fumbles, they were still all three running backs were getting chunks of yardage.
That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. And I think the only saving grace we might have, I don't know if they're still out because I didn't get it. I forgot to check the injury report.
Maybe I got it here.
You might have it. They lost. Is their center and the offensive guard still out?
So Ryan Kelly is returning. Their center is returning this week. He's coming back off after suffering a concussion and going through protocol last week. Now, who they do have out is their left guard, Damon Jackson. Blake Brandel is going to be in for him. They also have their other tight end, Ben Urachek, or is it Urasek? I hope I'm saying it correctly. Ben is out. And then, of course, we know about McCarthy and Jones. But then they also have a linebacker out, and that is Andrew Van Ginkel. So one of their linebackers, that left guard's going to be out. They have a substitute in there. But it seems like.
Good. And that's kind of good because he'll be lined up. He'll be where Benton is if Benton comes in the game.
Yeah. And here's the thing too: the Steelers though are missing Highsmith still, but everybody else is questionable now. So it looks like Elliott's going to be coming back. He practiced full practice the last couple days this week. Joey Porter Jr. as well looks like he might be showing up for playing time. I assume that they're going to maybe put him in a limited role so that they can make sure that what was it, a hamstring injury? They're going to
Yeah,
make sure that that gets better. I'm sure by putting him maybe in more of a situational roles. But yeah, so the Steelers, the only big injury right now is Highsmith. So they're relatively healthy. So they have, oh, Johnny Smith and Warren are questionable as well. I forgot to mention. Sorry for bringing that up late, but it looked like Jalen Warren and Johnu are questionable with limited practice this week.
okay, so all right, so they're going to start. That's why they had limited practices. So they're going
That's
to
what it
start.
seems like. Yeah.
Right. So they wanted to give it as much rest as possible before game time. So I don't know. Maybe we might see some. We might get a chance to see get some actual footage on Caleb Johnson. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like some real actual footage to where as though I could actually see if this kid is worth anything because kickoff returning he's not. We already know that. So I want to know can he keep his roster spot on this team? And I think if Warren is what's the name of the injury and Gainwell is good and everything, dog, but I just think sometimes he's just too small. Sometimes I think it's a plus. Sometimes I think it's a pro and a con with his size. Any way you look at it. And so I think this is going to be a good time as any is try to get Johnson acclimated into the offense and actually getting some footage on it. We ain't got no footage on Johnson really in the NFL.
Not really, no. Just besides the couple runs that they let him have in those, in I guess what was it, one run against the Jets, which was 1 yard, and like that he hasn't been used at all, and I'm sure he's still in the doghouse. But if Warren's dealing with a little bit of the injury bug and they're trying to utilize him less, we're probably going to see a little bit more of Gainwell with maybe Johnson on third down situations, right? Because Johnson can catch the ball out of the backfield.
And
If you watch him,
that's what I want to see, Graham. And that's what
yeah,
I want to see. I want to see him get the ball in space, and I want to see what he does with it.
yeah.
That's something I've been waiting to see. I'm glad you brought that up because that is something I've been waiting to see.
Well, there's just a couple things that they got to do to make sure that that happens. One, give Rodgers time to go through his progressions, and if he has to land on Johnson during that time, give it to him. Set up some screenplays for Johnson. I don't think the Vikings are going to expect that when he comes into the game. They're probably going to look more of when they see him just a straight pass or just a straight run up the gut because that's what they've been doing a lot on third down with their running back so far. Now, here's some weird numbers that I think should be discussed here about this game, right? Steelers have lost each of the last 5 week 4 games against NFC opponents. So weird, just weird stat that might come into play. Number two, they have not won international games, especially against the Vikings. Vikings are 3-0 in the last 3 international games, one of them being against the Steelers in 2013. And then also another weird here's a weird stat. The Vikings have won 7 of the last 8 games against AFC opponents. So they played the AFC very well. So I don't I'm kind of hoping that this being a neutral ground is going to go ahead and force the Steelers to play a better style of football. You're not going to have one fan base with the other. It's going to be real neutral. And I'm sure we're going to see like we've seen in these other international games where fans are wearing Rams jerseys and Seahawks hats and Chiefs sweatpants and we're going to see like
All 32. Yo, listen, at these international games, all 32 teams are represented.
yeah.
And that's the NFL wants. That's the NFL wants. Because there's not no, you see Cleveland Browns, Jacksonville, it doesn't matter. You see all 32 teams. And listen, I wouldn't be surprised. And now I'm gonna look for it because it came in my mind. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw some Colorado #2 Shedeur Sanders jerseys. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised, dog. Like I would not be surprised. When they do the international, dog, you see every jersey. First of all, when they first comes on, they try to find somebody with the jerseys on the team that's playing because there's so many different jerseys on it there.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if
see
we saw an
couples,
Arch Manning jersey.
and then yeah, exactly. And then you'll see couples that have two different NFL teams on. Like you'll see whole families, everybody got a different jersey on.
And hey, coach, before we start getting into why we're gonna pick how we're gonna pick, like, subscribe, follow us on all your platforms, YouTube. All of us are on TikTok, not move podcast. There is a QR code right up in the corner, okay, right up above my head. That is for my bookie AG. And if you click on that, you scan that QR code and use the code not moved, you're going to get up to 100% possibly off bet back bonuses. So not only are we providing you with insight based off of numbers, off of coaching, like Coach here, my man Coach has the numbers. He knows the X's and O's. You're not going to get better insight on coaching than the guy right next to me. We've got all these people here to work for you so that you can get that insight and betting knowledge from us. Southgate, check out all of his channels. Check out every podcast. That guy has done nothing but hit this year, hasn't he, Coach?
Yo, listen. Southgate knows he knows his thing. When it comes to that, when it comes to these games and these parlays, listen to me. Listen to me when I tell you. Southgate is on point. He is on point. Listen to him. And as a matter of fact, I'm not even going to tell you listen to him. I'm going to tell you, hear him out, and then do your own research and see if it's right. See if you agree. Because he breaks down everything. He lets you know. Right? Him, my boy Better Betters. Okay? We got Chief, does his power hour on fantasy. We help out with the fantasy picks, who should be benched, who should be starting, who you might want to put in your flex. We do it all over here and not move. We do everything.
Betters. If you watch the last one with JB about the Seahawks in Arizona, I hope you paid attention because they were they called up pretty much on everything. So we have people who are here working for you as well as working for us. We're trying to provide the best of sports insight and entertainment and betting that you're going to get all at Not Moved.
Yes, absolutely, baby. And that's the reason it's here, because we not moved. We're not going nowhere. But now on to our picks and how we see the game, man. All right. I'm going to start it off because, I like to give you bad news early. So I'm going to start it off. With the problems we're having at left tackle and the problems we're having with coaching in a whole, like I said, I don't even feel, like I said, at this point, I don't feel those personnel problems. I feel those beyond personnel problems. Like, it's not going to matter who the personnel is because the problem is the coaching. Right? You got one coach who's the head coach. I don't know if he wants, I don't really think he knows what he's doing. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I don't. Like, I don't think he knows what he's doing. Not like I lost all faith in him. To be honest, I lost all faith. Right? And then you have Terrell Austin, who you go over his resume, nothing is positive as a defensive coordinator. There's no positive numbers in his resume as a defensive coordinator. But yet you hired this man. And then you have Arthur Smith, who, I'm going to be honest with you, no, I'm not happy with his play call. But the thing is, we really don't even get to see his play calling. We really don't even get to see his offense because it's limited to quick throws and dives because our line is so abysmal. So you have one coach who's the head coach, don't know what the hell he's doing anymore, right? You got another coach who has no positive statistics as a defensive coordinator. You have another coach that can only run a certain page in the playbook because he's limited and handcuffed because his line because he doesn't have time for his quarterback to get anything else off. They don't have time. That line doesn't allow for any other type of play to develop. It only allows that time, only allows us a certain amount of time for certain plays. We cannot open our playbook. We cannot stretch the field. We don't have time for him to drop back. We don't have time. He does not have time. And because of that, now, I will say, I was wrong last week because I took New England. However, they was dog walking us. We just happened to get turnovers. I just want to point that out. All right? I'm not happy about the win. I accept the win. It's a win. But
Right.
I'm not one bit happy about it. Not one bit. Not one bit. So, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see me going with my team at all until I see coaching changes. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just being real. I got no faith whatsoever in our coaching staff. None whatsoever. Not the line coaches, not the defensive back coaches, not definitely not the coordinators. Definitely not the coordinators, and definitely not the head coach. Like, I have no faith in anybody on that sideline that doesn't have pads on. I got no faith in none of them. Anybody that wears a headset and a polo and some khakis, I have no faith in you, dog. None whatsoever. I got none. I absolutely, and it's horrible to say, but listen, I keeps it real about, I'm just a fan of this team. The team I coach, I'm even harder on them because I'm coaching them. So
Yeah.
I expect more. You know what I expect of you. I'm right here in your face. I know you. I've learned control over how you act and how you play. I don't even have no control over how they act or how they play or how they coach. So, man, listen. Nah, I'm going to take Minnesota, dog. I have no faith in anybody in the polo on that sideline. Anybody in the polo on the headset, I don't believe in you. I just don't.
Well, some things that my pick is probably going to be the same, to be honest. I don't like picking the Vikings against the Steelers, but the better team is the better team. I'm not going to let my bias affect my decision. Although last week, like you, I picked the Patriots because they just looked like the better coached and better team at that time. And guess what? You were right. They moved we may not be moved, but the Steelers defense has moved from one side of the field to the other. And and rushing, another thing. Once again, they're letting up rushing yards. So there's only a couple positives that the Steelers I feel can attack on this. Carson Wentz is gettable. So he got sacked 3 times last week. So that's one thing they can take advantage of by maybe, you know, utilizing some more
Rally.
twists and stunts with our big boys up front, like Hayward, Harmon. Let's get those guys more active. So the Steelers can get some sacks. And if we get a little bit more pressure, Carson Wentz is the type of quarterback that is going to start making some mistakes. He will start throwing the ball away, and maybe we can force some more turnovers. But having said that, Addison, Jefferson, Hawkinson, Mason out of the backfield. That's just 4 weapons. Okay, that's just 4 weapons that the Vikings can hit you with. Addison and Jefferson alone. Without a healthy Porter Jr., full health. Slay I think is going to get burnt to a crisp. Ramsey, I don't like the matchup of him against Jefferson. Jefferson I think is too fast, and with Ramsey just starting to be on that decline. I feel like that the Vikings are going to end up winning. It's going to be a low scoring game because that's how these international affairs go. I feel like, but I feel like the Vikings are just going to overwhelm that defense again. And I also feel like Steelers are just going to let Rodgers get pummeled. I have no faith in Broderick Jones. The footage from last week was even more damning than I thought when I watched the game. When I watched the game again, and like you said, that clip from Roethlisberger, that's just some of what happened that was bad, of him just standing straight up, and McCormick too, just almost letting people run by. But Broderick, he looks lost. He looks like he can't find his way out of a potato chip bag right now. And until there are severe coaching changes, until I hear something from my Pittsburgh media saying Tomlin's on the hot seat, I can't pick this team against a Brian Flores led Vikings defense.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Completely agree. There's no type of rebuttals. No type of rebuttal. No type.
And what's bad is Rodgers is going to do what I like his attitude. I wasn't sure about Rodgers at first, given everything we saw in New York and the end of his tenure in Green Bay. I like his attitude towards this whole thing. He's been admitting to his bad play thus far, like the last game, throwing that wide open pick to Spillane. He admitted that was just a bad throw on his part.
Yeah, this is a bad read. That was a complete bad read. He knows that.
Yep, but these other things that he hasn't spoken up about yet, about, hey, I'm only getting 2.3 seconds back there to get crushed. That's right. Give it this game. Give it this game, because Rodgers already grumbled about the travel on the way out to Dublin. How's he going to grumble when he gets hit 10 times and he has 6 more sacks against him?
No, it is like Ben said, okay, give up no sacks. Okay, good. But he gets hit every time he drops back.
Every time.
Every time he drops back. If it's not a quick slam or a quick, no, and I'm telling you, and I guarantee you, before the season's over, one of them wide receiver screens is going for a pick six.
Oh yeah, and look at this scoring defense. Look what happened last week.
Yeah, we do it too, yo.
For the Vikings, their corner, 2 touchdowns.
Yo, we're limited so much in our offense, and what we can do on offense is that wide receiver screen is going to start being so telegraphical. And I'm telling you, somebody's going to jump it. And when they jump it,
it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. Someone's going to get hurt out there at some point.
No, they have got to address that line. And I mean, the trade deadline is fucking November 4th. Yo, I don't know. Y'all got to do something, man. Like, for real. Y'all got to do something, dog. Like, just like, at this point, I'm really starting to feel as though Tom was just putting a team on the field just to say, yo, I got a team on the field.
Well, what I'm looking for is I'm waiting for these players to show up and start winning to spite him. Okay? Kind of like when Barry Switzer showed up in Dallas, he ticked that whole locker room off before he unified with them, and they started to win to spite him. Okay? I want to see that. I want to see these guys get mad that they're being coached like this. Now, I want to see them get angry about it. I don't mind if I start hearing stuff about it. Hearing them leak stuff to the media like, oh, TJ Watt, not very happy about the defensive play calling or the coaching in general.
Yo,
I want to hear it.
I can't wait to hear that. I can't wait to hear somebody feel as though that they're being utilized wrong. I can't wait to hear that. Because listen, when those numbers come out, that means all other options have been exhausted. That means they're at their limit. Because they're about to blow. Paul, like they're about to like really go off. And it's like a volcano. How I had like the little pre-eruption first? That's the rumblings and rumors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it finally erupts, that's the blow up on the sideline when the teammates and the coaches gotta hold them apart. And all that. And the teammates and the coaches got to get between the coach and the player.
That's what I want. I want to see it. It's time. It's time it happened.
Yeah, so it's definitely about to pop off. It's definitely about to pop off. So I know that, and I can see that. And the reason being is because if they're any type of competitor how I was, it's gonna come in point in time like, you know what? I don't care about the fire. I don't care like dog. Like I'm about to say the fuck needs to be said. Like I don't care. Like man, you know what? I don't care how many laps I'm running. Like
Yeah,
I don't even care. Like I don't even care. I don't even care how many times they're gonna make me do the bleachers. Like I don't even care. Like I'm at that point where I don't care. Like,
and one thing too that it's going to be real funny to see is when the time that Cam Hayward realizes that this team's might not make the playoffs, he's going to feel real angry about that little bit of adjustment for that contract for this year. You know, he's going to feel real angry about the stat related playoff bonuses because they're not going to get those playoff wins, and watching this team ugly rumble to another 9-8 just to get into that last spot. He's going to be upset about it because they're going to face another good team that's going to squash them like a bug. And then he's going to be upset and talking again like, why did I renegotiate this? Why did I even try to do this? I should have known better. So ultimately, that's what's going to happen. I can't, and with this weekend in Dublin, I kind of hope it's raining. I kind of hope it's a nice ugly game because that's the only thing I think is going to swing the game in the Steelers' favor is a messy field with a lot of rain and a lot of muck and grime to go through because anything can happen in those type of games.
absolutely, that is absolutely. And I think those type of games probably favor us the most.
They really do because we still do have big boys up front who like to slap each other around. You know, Cam Hayward. Now we've seen Harmon. They like to slap some people around. On the offensive line, Frazier, we never ever say that he doesn't give us a full effort. He gives a full effort every time. And whether he wins or loses, most of the time he wins, he's given a full effort. So
And
in
see,
that
here's the
situation,
thing. I don't want to lose, and you know this will be his third year.
I know. I know.
I don't want him to say, yo, dog, like, I ain't beat for this. I want to touch free agency. I don't even want to talk to y'all about another guy. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, they're looking at setting themselves up with what's happening here, especially with contracts that signings with Metcalf, Ramsey. Uh, this is the last ride. This is the last ride because after this, it's going to be an old ride.
Yo, I'm telling you, listen, I started thinking about, like, yo, wait a minute. This will be Frazier's third year. I'm like, they got to negotiate his contract extension now.
Yep.
They got to do that now.
Yeah, because with the one thing, at least you lock in Frazier. McCormick still has an upside. Just because he had a couple bad weeks, he hasn't played like that normally. This is something that's out of the ordinary for him. I think he'll step back up. But you lock in those two guys, and then you find a replacement for Siamalu at some point because it's eventually going to be his time. He's been in the league for a little while now, so but you got to get something with this line locked up, some type of positivity, and Frazier's definitely that positivity. So
Yeah, you got to get that anchor like we had with Pouncey.
yeah, that's it.
Like we had
Got to
with
keep that
Pouncey,
Steelers tradition.
like we had with Darmani Dawson, like we had
Yes.
Mike Webster, like
Hastings was a great center during that era as well.
yeah, you know what I mean? Listen, I mean every center we had, we've been. That's one thing. Whoever's in charge of drafting centers, they haven't really missed on the center position. You know, they haven't really missed on the center position. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's a plus.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I think I'm gonna.
Chris Boswell's not sick. He's cool. That's a plus. I mean, I'm trying to find the positives in this team, dog. It's real hard. This is why I know we're in trouble. It's real hard to find any positives on the offensive or defensive side of the ball. I mean, it's got to the point is that we're pointing out the emphasis on, don't get me wrong, this is huge. This is huge. Being 87% in the red zone. That's huge. Especially since, in the past, we were the field goal kings in the red zone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's huge. But it's limited to that. Like, that's what the limit, like, we're limited to, hey, we're 87% in the red zone, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
what we're limited to. Chris Boswell's okay. Like, this is what we're limited to.
Yeah, out of the positives that I was searching for, just because I don't want to be the type of guy that we're constantly focusing on the negatives of the team, even though they are true. We do deal with facts here. Even though the negatives are true, there are some positives, right? Like right now, there is a positive. It is a negative stat for me, but Jalen Warren leading and receiving means that he's getting utilized outside of just running, which is good. He's the type of back that we can utilize, and like you said today, you said earlier, if they implement Caleb Johnson into more of that role, that's going to ease up on Jalen Warren's usage and give him some better running, get him more energy, be better on the run. So, if we can get Gainwell, if they're going to continue to use him, you got to use him as an out of the backfield back more often than running him right up the gut through the tackles in the center and through the guard in the center.
Small,
You,
too
you
small.
just can't do that. But focusing on positives, right? The red zone offense, that's great. Rodgers knows what to do in the red zone, and that has shown. Um, Getting there has been the trouble. A lot of it also has been getting there with penalties, as we saw the last game. A lot of penalties helped the Steelers get ahead there. But you know, the being that we're successful in the red zone, I can see Rodgers throwing two touchdowns, a touchdown or two here in this game, just because if we're getting close enough, I think he's going to make a play call that he needs to. But you know, another positive that we can talk about too is T.J. Watt woke up a little bit last week. He seemed like he was more active. Um, and if they can run a couple more stunts with Cam Hayward, like we were talking about earlier, and Derek Harmon, that was a big positive. Seeing Harmon implemented like they wanted to, that's why they used that first round draft pick on him. He was very effective, and you could tell he had a good side of the yips, right? First game, he had a good side of the yips where, yes, he over pursued a couple times. Yeah. But I can forgive over pursuit when he's playing the rest of the game like that.
Right.
So that's some of the positives. I think the secondary can play better, but I don't know how good Deshaun Elliott's going to be coming off the injury still. He was still limited in practice to keep him ready for this game. So we might still see a little bit more of Jabril Peppers in his place and him used sparingly if possible, just to ease up on him. But other than that, that's my positives. Those are my positives that I'm seeing. I'm trying to look at it that way, what the Steelers can rely on to win, as little as it is.
Yeah. I was going to answer. We got a thing from Alex. He says that his Vikings, he said he's sorry to tell us, but his Vikings is going to get an easy dub tomorrow. And I just wanted to tell him, obviously you just joined the show. Because had you been here the entire show, or at least halfway through it, because we're more toward the end now, you would have heard us both pick, as Pittsburgh Steelers fans, you would have heard us both pick the Minnesota Vikings to win tomorrow. So you putting that statement down there is, how can I say this, pointless. Because we already said that, and we're Pittsburgh fans.
Yeah, Alex, I do gotta say a little bit,
Read the room,
little
homie.
L,
Read the
little L
room.
on that one. But hey, thanks for showing up. Thanks for
Yeah.
paying attention. Anyways, I appreciate you
Appreciate
showing
you
up
for
here.
subscribing. Appreciate you
Yeah,
for subscribing. Hey, yo, get that bet us. Get that.
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? Appreciate it.
Check it up in the
Appreciate it.
corner. Hit that QR code, buddy.
Yo, I appreciate it. But next time, read the room.
And folks, when you see comment like this, you can tell what he believes he's saying about our team, he feels in every fiber of his being, just like I do, because it's not fun to see. It's not good to see, and it's going to be a waste. It's well, maybe they didn't waste their time while they were in Dublin, Ireland, on some of their off time, but seems like they're going to be going there to waste some time.
Yeah, and it's funny, right? Because I'm pretty sure they're about to. We have the first bye week of the week, so our next week's our bye week. So they're
Yep.
going to use it as a vacation. They probably got family and everything coming to Ireland, dog. Like everybody we just gonna stay in for the week. We off.
Yeah, they're probably going to take advantage and go into a bye week, getting full rest so that they can be not prepared for the week after the bye.
And
But
chilling over in Dublin.
yeah, what do you think the score is going to be, Coach?
I don't want it to be outrageous, but I don't see it being anything less 24-10.
Yeah, geez, man, that is really close to mine. I think I have them at 24-17. That's the score that I have them in. I think, of course, it's all going to come. I think if the Steelers do score 17 points, I honestly think it might be garbage time work. And I just, it's going to be rough. And like Alex Wolf said, like and subscribe, brother. Come on back, discuss it with us again. But yeah, Steelers are going to have a hellacious time.
Yeah, check this out. I'm Coach Common. I'm with dollfacegremlin. This has been the pregame Pittsburgh Steelers show. I'm 6'4", I'm 280, and I'm not moved. And what hurts the most is I'm not moved about my own team. That hurts more than everything. But regardless of that, I don't move so easy. Not Move podcast. Lock in or lock out. Strap up and wrap up what you don't want broke up. It's football, baby!
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.